and keep sharing a level of this. And when we do on the next, we'll go through some of this. We have some time on the next one here because we're going to get on with Oliver, and then it'll be a good opportunity for us to kind of dive deeper into some of the things that have come up for you guys that are attending right now. So I'm excited to bring on Oliver Dolby, everybody. He's known as the Soul Doctor, is a healer, a spiritual teacher dedicated to helping individuals break free from the cycles of trauma caused by dark interference and energetic attacks. With deep roots in the ancient Egyptian lineages of light, Oliver has developed transformative practices that guide people to reclaim their sovereignty, clear deep energetic imprints, and activate their divine essence. His personal journey led him to uncover the truth behind false light teachings and the importance of true protection. Through his etheric trauma release method, Oliver helps align people with their true power, activate the ancient wisdom, and create from a place of deep sovereignty and divine connection. Let's bring Oliver on. Hey, brother, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Neil. Good to be here today.
Yeah, thank you for being here, brother. So we're excited to have you. And the only time we've had an opportunity to connect was the interview, which I really just loved everything you're sharing today at that interview. So I'm excited to see what you're going to be sharing with us today.
Well, we're going to weave a little bit of magic through today, I think. I think it's already
Oh, I'm ready
started,
for
it's
that.
already happening, and people are feeling it and
Yeah.
about to step up. And remember,
Yes, sir. Let's do it, brother. Okay, it's all yours.
it's all mine. Alrighty, okay, you beautiful souls. Yes, I'm Oliver, and I've always been Oliver. And one day the name, someone said to me, "You're the soul doctor." And I stepped back and went, "No, no, no, I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm just Oliver. I'm just Oliver." And it took me a while to get used to being called the Soul Doctor. But why? It's just a name. But if I step back away from that, I think, well, who am I really? I'm far more than any name that anybody could give me. I'm far more than any name that I give myself. So these days, I think I just call myself a magician, weaving magic into my life so that magic happens around me. Because through this journey of life, I've learned that when we weave magic into our own lives, not the illusions of tricks on stage, not the escaping from the box that's filling up with water, not being sawn in half on stage, but escape from that illusion to working with the magic inside of ourselves. That's when your life really, really changes. That's when you change. And when you change, everything around you starts to change. So I wanted to take you through a little bit of a process here. And as Neil mentioned, I work a lot with what we consider to be ancient Egypt, or the deities of Egypt, or the archetypes of the Egyptian archetypes. And for me, it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. It took me a while to actually remember who I am and what I stood for, and the importance of me allowing me to be me. So I'm going to bring in my team energetically just to help you, if you like, no pressure, to help you start to remember. Start to remember something about the true nature of who you are. Not necessarily the flesh and bones, but the truth behind who you are. Because we remember, it's not just in our minds. Our minds are very powerful, but they only know so much. It's when we get connected to our bodies that we really, really remember. It's that knowingness that comes from inside of you. Perhaps it's the feeling in your bones, in your chest, in your heart, but it's that knowingness, that knowingness. So let's just take a breath. Hands on heart, if you like. just allow ourselves to remember your truth. Now, I didn't remember for a long time. I didn't know anything for a long time. I thought I knew. I'd been taught. I'd been indoctrinated by my schooling, my family, my social circles, my training in various things. But it wasn't who I was. It wasn't the real Oliver. It wasn't the real soul doctor. It wasn't the real magician. It was this unknown. And my first real delve into this world was not really seeing the pleasant stuff. I saw all the dark, all the chaos, all the corruption, all the entities that are out there. I saw the darkness feeding off people's life force. Then it scared me, and I shut it down. I didn't want to go there. No one wants to go there. That's dark, nasty, horrible work, isn't it? And then I decided to tap into this idea called meditation. And I started to connect with a being that some of you might be familiar with. And that was Odin, a Norse god. Some of you might know him with the patch on one eye and the crows flying around. And that was the energy of the man that I had become. I had become the energy of Odin in many ways. And he showed me what it's like to sit on that rock under the tree, listening to the crows, looking out on that deserted battlefield filled with death. And I thought to myself, well, that's not very pleasant. Why am I connecting to this? Why am I receiving healing from being on this battlefield? Having this connection to this Norse god, to Odin, seeing him sitting, weary, tired, soul tired. And I realized that that's the way the world's been. And so many of us are weary. So many of us are just tired. Because that's been the way it was before. That's been the way it is, or has been. And now we've got the opportunity to change that. To change that. So I'm going to ask you now just to maybe connect to that. That idea of that weariness, that heaviness, that tiredness that so many of us perhaps have felt, maybe still feel. What do you sense? What do you see? What are you experiencing in that? Odin offered me a doorway. Not a physical door, not a gate, just a way to heal. To heal that part of me that was based on the old energies. It was based on fear, based on corruption, based on greed. Pushed me because it didn't come easy. But there was this incredible God standing there, wanting to help, to push, to change, to excel. And so I paused And I stopped. And I realized that men, in particular, have to move from this corruptness, this corruption and hatred and power into men of honor, love, and truth. And that started my journey of exploring deeper and deeper into the mysteries. And I explored many of them. Some of them were complete nonsense. Some of them were complete falsehoods. And I realized that this wasn't working for me, and it certainly wasn't going to work for anybody else. So, how can we have strength but still be gentle? How can we still have power and still be present? How can we, doesn't matter who you are, speak our truth and not feel that we can't open our mouths? And I learned that in this process, I'd have to start to honor Oliver, to stop looking outside for the answers. Yes, there are answers out there, but the real true answers are right here in your heart, right here in your soul, in your body. So many of us live our lives through this brain, knowingness. We're not actually living it, because you have to live it to know it. I want to touch on how Isis came to me. This is the energy, the archetype, the goddess that I work with on a daily basis. Because as a man, I never thought that that would ever come to me. That was for those women's circles, those goddess circles. It was not something that I would ever naturally have been drawn to. And she didn't come with force. She came quietly. This presence that I didn't know what she was, who it was. But it came with wisdom and divinity and magic. And she spoke the truth. And the messages started to come to me, not through her, but through my clients, some of my students. And there's one particular client I want to mention. She came to me and said she'd been guided to see me. Fantastic. Hey, another client. Brilliant stuff. And then she said to me, I need to smash her physical body into pieces. I need to break it into pieces. And I was like, whoa, okay, you've been guided. You want me to smash you up? Thank goodness we're doing this call on Zoom, so we're not actually in the same room, because I don't think I could do that. And what I learned from that process is going there and realizing, taking her through this journey of smashing her old, corrupt, physical body, energetically, of course, into millions of pieces, breaking it down. But in that breaking it down, we could purify it, we could cleanse it, we could heal it, and we could bring it back together in the new energy, in the new way, in the new light, in the new energies that are on this planet right now. And take her from that old, corrupt, very linear, masculine driven, and put her right into the 21st century, where she could stand in power and be her truth and be her goddess on the planet. She became a student. I taught her everything I knew. And then she became my teacher. She started to teach me. She started to teach me about the beauty, the softness, and the power that comes when you connect to a divine mother figure. Isis, goddess of light. Beautiful, serene, sovereign, royal, powerful, but the truth of it, a mother, a creator. A mother that is stern enough to smack your hand if you stick your fingers in the socket, in the power socket. At the same time, to look at you and say, I love you unconditionally. And by the way, this unconditional love was new to me. I didn't understand that. I'd learnt about, I guess, physical love, love for my family, my partner, my child, my clients, people out there, pets, animals, nature. But when you connect to that sovereign, unconditional love, it changes you. It changes you. It starts to fill you up so that you can be the love in your world, in your light. So I'm eternally grateful to my client, my student, my teacher, my friend, who's helped me find my way. Find my way. She became a very, very good channeler. And every now and again, I'd receive messages that she brought through that pushed me. They pushed me. They made me question myself. They made me expand. They made me question life itself. She made me face all of my trauma. Not all of it. There's still trauma. A lot of my trauma. That deep-rooted trauma that was in me. That anxiety, the fears, the shame, the guilt. All those were brought to the surface. And I was questioned and pushed. Do you want to do this? Then I was told, you're not ready. Then I was presented with these false, I'm just going to say what they are, false gods and goddesses who came to me saying, who do you think you are? Why do you think that you can talk to us, be with us? And I was pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, almost to the point of breaking, but I'm too stubborn. So I kept going. And I'm so glad I did. Because when I faced those fears, that stress, that trauma, understood it, felt it, released it, accepted it, it didn't have that power over me anymore. It didn't have that power. And then one day I got a letter. Well, it was an email, but as a letter. And it came from somebody called LJ. And I didn't know who LJ was. And then I read the letter. And I realized that it was from Lord Jesus. Not somebody that I knew. Yes, I'd been to a religious school and we'd had to learn about stories in the Bible, but I wasn't religious. And I connected to, and he called me my brother, just like he's everybody's brother. And it caused me to cry like I'd never cried before, to actually completely break down and let it all go. Everything that I've been hanging on for, things that didn't matter. My safety net in the past had to use humor and laughter as a way of expressing emotion. And here I learned to cry. And so, if you'd like, I'd like you to take you through a little process of just connecting to two beautiful energies. One of them is Jesus, LJ, my buddy, and your buddy as well. And the other one is Mary Magdalene. So take a breath in and just allow your eyes to gently close if you like, and just to start to sense their presence. Perhaps you can sense the love. Perhaps you can just feel energy, And perhaps you feel nothing at all, and that's also okay. Because I never used to feel anything. And as you breathe gently, I just want you to start to imagine this infinity loop, the sideways figure of 8 on your chest. And just to start to imagine, sense, or feel, or just know how the energy is now flowing in that infinity loop. How it's starting to bring those lost pieces. Maybe the pieces you've broken off in this journey of life. How it's been to heal them. How the energy has been to move in your chest. How comforting. How warm. How soft. How gentle. The power of infinity. So more than just infinity. And let go of needing to fix things. Allow yourself to just be. Allow yourself to let go of the fighting in this moment. Let go of this idea of needing to survive and just be. And feel and know and remember as you begin to honor yourself, honoring who you are, who you truly are, behind all the masks that we have to put on in this crazy world. Allowing yourself just to remember a little bit more. And when you're ready, just allow yourself to gently come back, if you like, or you can stay in that beautiful space. When I finally allowed myself to let go, to remember, and to receive that energy of Isis, goddess of the left, there was no fluff. There was no nonsense. There was no me worshipping or bowing down. I gained a friend, a colleague, a mother, part of my team, where my voice was just as valuable as hers. And she came to me one day and said, I think you should call your training programs magic. And I went, not a chance. That's not me. And I had a long, very complicated title, something about releasing and clearing and healing the emotional, physical, mental bodies of whatever it was. And I stuck by that. And a year later, I suddenly realized that the goddess had been correct. And it was time for me to rebrand and call that series of classes magic. And it's been magic ever since. Because when you connect to this divine energy and you allow yourself to let go, to be, and to remember, you realize that everything you're doing in this world is for you. Everything that you're seeing in this world is for you. And that's a powerful place to be. It's a powerful place to let it go so that you can remember. Because when you do remember, things start to flow and manifest so much quicker. I had to do work. It was hard. I was challenged, but it was divine. It really was divine. It was the way it was supposed to be. So it's so important to remember that we come from two energies. We come from this idea of woman and man, goddess, God, divine, feminine, divine, masculine. And they've got to come into us. They make us who we are. But can we actually balance those energies inside our bodies? Can we balance them? Or are we still swinging like a pendulum from side to side, trying to find the way? Because when you start to connect to the truth of who you are, you start to really get that idea of how you can swing. But it has to start with you loving you. Now, many people might love you. Partners, friends, people in your life, parents. Well, hopefully they'd love you. But who really, really is the only person who can love you? And that is you. Because only you know what's happening inside this mind. Only you knows what's happening here, which doesn't make it onto your social media, which is not something you publicly speak about. So you've got to learn to love you. You've got to remember to love you. To do things that bring you joy, that bring you excitement, so you could fill your heart up. Not work from this empty cup. Where so many of us, especially people in healing and care and those that want to help, what are you giving to you? Because when you're empty, the quality of what you're giving, quality of the love you're giving, the quality of the care you're giving is not touching anybody. It's like trying to fill a cup with a little bit of a dribble from your cup. And then you feel tired, exhausted. You start stepping back into that linear way of the masculine. You start stepping back into that battlefield where you're constantly living to survive. You're constantly craving this love, this energy, this power. In fact, the power that we have the most of if we access it, if we allow ourselves to connect to our power, to our light, to our truth. And in that process, you start to fill your cup up, that metaphorical cup, until it's filling right the way through you. And then what happens? It starts to overflow. And you're able to spread that wherever you go without thinking about it, without having to dig deep and give, without having to make it an effort. Because we're very good at automating things, aren't we? We're very good at it. I'm sure many of you drive and you get in and you don't even think about driving. It's on automatic pilot. You get in and just drive. You do all the things you're supposed to do. We can do that the same with our hearts. Fill them up with that love so it's overflowing and just flowing out of the world around you. And guess what? It changes those people you connect with. It helps them. It helps them change in ways that you don't need to know. Because we always try to get this computer involved. We need to know why. No, you don't. We need to know how. No, you don't. We need to know if we could do it better. No, you don't. We need to know why everything in our life's happening. No, you don't. That's the old way. The old way is slow. We've got to remember that we've shifted through thousands of years of that linear, and it's become heavy energy, of that masculine cycle. We're in the feminine cycle now. It's all creation. And it's all fast, creating a new way, creating from the heart, creating in the dark. Maybe not even knowing what the ultimate destination is. but creating from that place of oneness inside of yourself. And then the magic really starts. And then the people start to come. Then the people start to want to know more. When you are in your heart, in your magic, creating here, not here. Now, of course, we still do need this, but always check things out with your heart. Check out the latest, whatever it is, gadget, FOMO. Bring it into your heart and say, does my heart really need this? Is this going to support me on my journey? Is this going to make me a better person, a better partner, friend, teacher, student, whatever it is? Listen to hear. Because when we do listen, things change. Things change massively. Remember, we have to live it to embody it. We have to be it. We can't do that from here. Knowledge is great. Reading is great. Learning is great. But can you take that knowledge and bring it here? Can you bring it here? Can you embody it? Because when you do embody things, then they become real. Then they really, really, really do become real. And you really can start to change the world around you. That's what we do. There's these incredible beings of light, of power. We live on Earth, physically, here right now. And some of us are dreaming about leaving. Some of us are saying, I hope this is my last incarnation. Why? Make the most of it. Bring your passion into the world, into your work, to the people around you. Bring your love down here on Earth right now. Because we need it. The people around you need it. Those souls that are still lost, that are still stuck in the old way, they still sit in that linear thinking, they're still fear-based in their nature of approaching the world. They need your light, your truth, your energy, your passion, your excitement. They need us all to remember that we are so, so powerful. And it's about embodying the truth of who you are. And I talk a lot about truth in the work I do. It's about finding your truth. Finding your truth. Not the truth of your neighbor, of the truth of the teacher, of the truth of people around you. What is your truth saying? And by the way, my truth changes constantly. Almost daily, my truth changes. Because I've realized that by facing my own fears and going in, my truth has had to change. I'm not 16 anymore. Those things don't matter anymore. So changing the truth, changing your story, changing it and making it a better story. Because if you're still talking the old story, you're still telling people the old story. If I was still telling people I was just an energy healer and that I wasn't the soul doctor and I wasn't the magician, then I'd still be living that old life. I'd still be stuck in the past. I wouldn't be in the now, in the moment. speaking to you. And that is powerful. When we let go of those old truths, those beliefs that we've been taught. And we needed them. We needed those early beliefs because that's what kept us safe. That's what kept us in our power. That's kept us in the community, in the family, in the tribe, in the group, and allowed us to be and live. But that was the old way. And so many of us felt like outsiders in those communities, in those groups, not fitting in. Because we knew deep inside that it wasn't the right place for us, but yet we still might have been accepted. We still might have been part of the group, but never felt that we truly belonged. And then you connect, you remember, you connect even deeper, and your heart expands, and you love. Now, who do I love? I love me. Am I perfect? Hell no. Have I got faults? More than you can possibly imagine. Do I live this roller coaster of a life? Goes up and down? Absolutely. But I love me. All the faults, all the pain, all the issues, all the gray hair. Because only I can love them. Only me, the magician, the soul doctor, can love me. Can you love you? All of you? The pain, the faults, the issues, the mind states, the shame, the guilt, the anger, the anxiety, the stress, the fears. Because when you love you, things magically happen. So I want you to take a moment now. I want to give you the opportunity to connect to the goddess that is part of my team. Someone who I now have daily conversations with. Just like I'm having a conversation with anybody in the room, except this is in, I guess, maybe a little bit mad. It's in my head, but it's there, me in the astral planes, having this conversation. I'd like to give you the opportunity to connect to this divine goddess energy, the strong mother, this beautiful, regal, royal energy that has shifted and changed over centuries, by the way, because this energy is not the same as it was in ancient Egypt. It's very much new because we're in this divine feminine energy time. So take a breath if you don't mind. And just let go. Just let go of the day, the week, the month, the year. Let go of everything that's happened or hasn't happened. Let go of the to-do list. You don't need it right now. And just allow yourself to breathe and connect. We're going to start off by just remembering that we're physical. So feel gravity. Feel gravity holding you. Feel gravity holding you tight, supporting you. Because as you feel gravity, your mind slowly starts to quieten down. And perhaps the space between the thoughts gets longer and longer. And it's good. And as you turn inwards, you start to sense and feel the energy. The energy of the goddess Isis, the goddess of the left-hand path. What do you see? Are there colors? Are there sounds? Are there feelings happening inside of your body? Is there a knowingness that's coming up? Perhaps even smells. Just allow all those aspects of those senses that you have to experience this moment. Feel, imagine, sense, know, understand, but inner stand, inner standing in you, this energy, this being, this goddess, this archetype, this divine mother, royal, regal, sovereign, tall, graceful, compassionate, wise, a healer. You know, you remember, you can heal, you have changed, you're growing, expanding, you are remembering. Would you like, just allow her to perhaps show you the next step, to remind you that you are important and that you are doing great work, not only for yourself, but for all those that come into your life, into your field, into your energy, into your community, into your space. However that manifests for you. Allow it to anchor. Allow yourself to be. And when you're ready, and of course in your own time and as gently and as you need, take a breath and bring yourself back to this present moment, if you like. Because life carries on. We're here. We're in this beautiful, beautiful planet. There's so many more memories we're going to be creating. There's so much more joy we're going to bring to the world as we start to shift ourselves, as we start to change ourselves. The more we change, the more the world around us has to change. I'm not scared anymore. Doesn't mean I'm not going to scream when a spider jumps on me or a bird swings out in a horror movie or something like that, but I'm not scared. I get excited. And when I'm in my heart, very little triggers me. When I'm not in my heart, then I get triggered. And then I know that when I'm being triggered, it's time to address whatever's triggering me. What is that trying to tell me? What have I got to learn from that? What have I got to shift and change from that? How do I change that? And we've also got to remember this time, as things speed up faster and faster and faster, that our healing does not have to take months and years. Healing can take seconds if you've changed your belief around how fast healing should take. And there's plenty of examples out in the world where people have healed instantaneously. There is no perfect answer. There is no easy way. There is no magic pill, although I wish there was. I think many of us do. Just a pill to help me become enlightenment. Find my truth, find me. It takes work. But actually, the hardest part about doing the work is actually starting. It's actually taking that first step. And that mountain you've got to climb through suddenly becomes the tiny bump in the road when you start the process, because it goes so quickly these days. The energies here now are for us to heal and grow rapidly, super fast, to reach this enlightenment, to reach places where my brother, LJ, only got to. And we are being offered that opportunity right now to go there, to be that, to live that in this world right now. And that is exciting, isn't it? That is super exciting that we've got this opportunity to do that. Magical, real magic starting right there. So I want to bring this to a gentle close, and remembering is not a destination. It's this process that we go through. It's living life. Not up here, not through a screen, but living life. One breath at a time. One choice at a time. One moment of remembering. Because you are divine. You are whole. And you are far more powerful than anybody has ever dared to tell you. And you are far more powerful than you've ever dared to remember. And don't be scared of it. Tap into it and love it. And the goddess within you, whether you're a man or woman, whether you're the skeptic or the seeker, or dare I say the know-it-all, already knows it. Gaze in your heart. Take a breath with me. And perhaps say quietly to yourself, I remember. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, Oliver. Thank you so much, brother. That was amazing. Wow. And as you were speaking, something that came up for me that I was thinking about was you were saying that we needed it because it kept us safe, right? And I was thinking that Yeah, that's how it was for a long time, for decades of our life, because, whether Atlantis was around 30 years, 1,000 years ago, 20 years, 1,000 years ago, whatever, but fact is that we can track back primitive cultures in our world that had to live in a way that was very stressful and had to actually fight to survive. And only recently have we shifted from that into having basic comforts, and we in a blink of an eye, if you look in the Western world, maybe for a few decades. If you look in the
Yeah.
Eastern world, maybe some places only 1 decade, right? So our bodies are so wired to be just triggered and stressed out, and so this gives me hope for human evolution. What happens if when we have 200, 300, 400 years of not having to be in fight or flight, or being that far gone from that? You know
We're
what I'm
going to
saying?
change massively, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's already happening. The amount of
Right.
people that are wanting to know more, the amount of people that are looking, seeking, that's how it starts. If no one's looking for it, then there's no hope. But people are looking for this. They're looking for this energy. They're looking for this light. They're looking for the way.
Hmm.
And they're being let down by those old ways because they just don't work as well. They do work, but they just take a long time.
Yeah.
And no one wants to spend 10 years in therapy. It's just, well, I don't. I mean, not no no. If you are, fantastic, great, it works. But I don't have 10 years.
Yeah, and
Not enough.
we've been called to release this at a faster pace than ever before, and the tools are getting more exponential and more targeted, right?
Yes.
There's layers, there's conventional third dimensional therapy layers, and then there's interdimensional realities, right, that you're dealing with. Even anything from plant medicine that is also something that you can actually take that goes into multiple levels, to esoteric healing modalities. And I think because, as you said, we're quickening so much. Something I like to say is we can't take our baggage into the next dimension. You know what I'm saying? So it's being forced
Yeah,
from us.
that's going to hold you back, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's many tools, and you only need to use the tool until you need to use the tool. And once you've outgrown the tool, move on. We need
Mm-hmm.
tools to help us climb the ladder, right? The friend pushing from behind, the friend pulling from the top, the step to stand on. We need these tools. But when you're at the top, you don't need the tool anymore because you're already there.
Yeah.
But there is no top. So keep expanding, keep growing, keep keep reminding yourself that you've got to keep growing, keep changing. You've got to keep pushing yourself a little bit. And this doesn't need to be from pain, because after a while the pain goes. It's got to be from what brings me that joy, what brings me that excitement, what is my life direction pushing me now. And by the way, I'm just as confused as where I'm going than I was 10 years ago. I, but it's changed. There's more joy in the process. And that is where your magic really lies. Because we're all magical. Are you muted, Neil?
Something that I love to say and that other people say as well is that we're all just figuring it out. You know, we're all just trying to figure it out. And a lot of us act like we already know, but part of the figuring out is the uncertainty and the mystery and the fear of the unknown, right? So something I'm shifting from, instead of having the fear of the unknown, is how can I shift that to curiosity?
Yes.
Even curiosity from the pain. Why do I feel like this? Oh, that's interesting that I'm experiencing this, and that gives just another way of perceiving it, rather than being kind of a victim to your own emotional state.
Well, you think about victim, it's a very low energy. It's very much in that shame. The shame and victim go very closely together. And when you're stuck in those vibrations, uh, you can't attract those higher frequencies to you, right? You won't be able to connect to anything bigger. You've got to shift and clear that. You've got to understand it. You've got to feel it. Yes, feel it. Disconnect from it. All these emotions, all these things we go through are part of who we are. We can't take them away. The traumas we lived through, they're part of me. I can't take them away and go, I don't want that trauma anymore, because it's made me who I am today. Without that, things that happened to me in my life, the things that aren't on the social feeds, aren't on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Those are things that have made me who I am. I'm not going to share them with anybody. They're mine, but I've still got to love those processes that I went through in that time. I've got to love the fact that I felt shame. I love the fact that I can feel guilt, but I'm not going to stay in guilt. I'm not going to stay in shame. I'm going to step out of it and go, I know you. You don't actually serve me in this higher plane right now. You don't serve me right now. So why am I still stuck in it? I've learned it. I've been it. I felt guilty. I felt fearful. I felt anxious. I felt the emotions. We're human beings. We're supposed to feel the emotions. We're supposed to feel. We're supposed to really feel, but not get stuck in the feeling. And that's the trap, being stuck in the feeling.
Yes, brother. Yes, the feelings come and they go. We identify with it as if it's the default for a whole life, right?
Yeah.
To truly let it move through us. Yeah. So, Oliver, thank you, brother, for being here. Thank you for your transmission. It's very powerful. And just before you leave, go ahead and let everyone know where they can find out more about you.
Easiest way is probably my website, oliverdolby.com. I'm also on all the socials as the Soul Doctor Official, or you can email me, oliver@oliverdolby.com. Very simple.
Beautiful. Thank you, Oliver. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Take care. All right, everybody. Let's take a moment here and breathe again. Take a deep breath in. While you're breathing, maybe stretch a little right now. I think it's good to take pauses in between everybody today. Take another deep breath. And one more. So we're going to get into our next presenter in just a moment, but I want to take a moment and read some of your comments from before Oliver came on here. And when I asked, what are some things that are coming up for you, or things that you wanted to, that you're processing, that you have processed? And I'm going to read some of these, it's okay with you guys. We have one from Carol here saying that, that you're in your mid 60s and you feel like your traumas are compiling, and I feel the aches associated with them. What's very interesting is that for me, a lot of my traumas actually came later in life too. And for some reason, these definitely happened when I was younger. Most of these traumas that really just perpetuated more traumas later in my life happened as I was a child. And my 20s, my mid up to mid 30s, it didn't really affect me. And then all of a sudden it came flooding back. And on some level, it seems like what I'm really reflecting on now is that the opportunity to deal with things I never dealt with are coming up, right? And part of what I'm learning today, even more, I know I'm implementing on some level, but definitely not on the level of all the information and awareness we're getting today, is am I spending the time acknowledging these things, or am I sitting in my frustration with it? And I would say, yeah, I do spend time acknowledging it, but a lot of times I definitely get frustrated and I push away that feeling.